What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about 10 interesting facts about Quebec. As an American, I have a difficult enough time trying to learn everything there is to know about Canadian culture in general, but then you got Quebec. You throw that monkey wrench into the Canadian engine. Quebec, from my understanding, which might be wrong, is like a culture within the culture. It's like cultureception. It's a culture within the culture. And man, as an American, from my point of view, I just know it's very French. Yeah, that's a start. But other than that, I don't really know much of anything about Quebec culture, how that compares to Canadian culture in general, or should I say Canadian culture outside of Quebec. So instead of me trying to wrap my mind around all that, I'm going to let this woman wrap my mind around all that. and this is a woman who has spent most of her life living outside of Quebec, and then I think for 8 or some months has been studying university in Quebec and had quite the culture shock that she is going to share with all of us, which sounds fantastic. Sounds very insightful, interesting, so I'm quite excited to get this little peek into Quebec life. So let's take a look.
I lived in Quebec for the last 8 months, and I did not go there and learn nothing, I tell you. Yes, besides my university studies, I learned a bunch about the culture, about the people, and about the province in general. So I thought it would be fun to share some of these things I learned. In case you ever visit, you'll be well prepared, or in case you just want to know more about the Québécois. So,
The Québécois. Is that how you say it? Does that mean I shouldn't laugh? It's just when I'm sitting here hearing words I've never really heard before. Almost sounds made up from my point of view, even though it's not. Québécois. Is that like instead of saying Quebecians or Quebecites or Quebeconians, it's Québécois. Got it.
allons-y, mes amis. So the first thing I learned about Quebec is that despite
I think also, since I'm finding myself chuckling for no reason, I feel like as an American, I need to explain that just like when you're in America, you don't hear French. You don't see French. French is not a part of your life at all, in any shape or form. So it sounds like so drastically different than anything I ever hear in my day-to-day life. I can't help but like crack a little smile or something. I don't know why. I mean, I think it's just because I haven't been exposed to any of it.
despite them being a French province filled with French people, they're really eager to speak English to you. Now, there's many reasons behind this. The first, they say, notre accent est terrible, meaning our accent is terrible. But I mean,
They'll tell you your accent is terrible and then set you straight in English. Got it. It is very impressive that there is a whole province of people who are bilingual. That is awesome, by the way. Like, I'm very jealous of bilingual people. It's like a superpower, but this is funny.
I have to argue that their English accents aren't much better than our French, so I'm just saying. The second reason behind it is because they want to practice their English just like we want to practice our French. And since we little invaders go into their province, they figure, hey, this is the best opportunity for me to practice.
I can't tell how sarcastic she's being. I know she's being funny and sarcastic, but like are non-Quebecois like considered like visitors to Quebec because you don't speak French, or is Quebec that different of a province? I know this is opening a whole can of worms about this whole thing, but I got questions.
And practice they do. The third reason behind it was actually something one of my professors made me realize, is that since English kind of dominates Canada, they feel like a minority, and they figure that they have to kind of accommodate us, and since we are the powerful English people, they have to speak our language in order
Interesting.
not to offend us.
Interesting, very interesting. Is Quebec considered like, I don't know, the way she said it was minority. like their own people in a way. They're like certainly I would think it's fair to say people in Quebec would consider themselves to have their own culture, which is very different from Canada and a lot of the world, except France. But I digress.
I love the French language, and I'm honored every time someone is willing to speak French to me. But yeah, so if you go in there to practice your French, just be warned that the Quebecois people will say, you know, I speak English quite frequently. The second thing I learned about the Quebecois culture is that they're hella proud of themselves. And there are many reasons behind this. At first, before I ever visited Quebec, I'm just like, oh, they're kind of full of themselves.
Oh.
They should be more humble.
Bitch, be humble.
Oh, okay. I got no say in this, but that was her words, not mine. Saying the Quebecois are very proud of their culture, almost to the point of, how did she say it? Being a little full of themselves. That's a bit harsh.
Bitch, sit down.
But once
I don't know if that's deserved or not. I'm just presenting what I see, by the way.
I actually got there and learned about their culture, I kind of realized why they're so proud. They have amazing food, traditional
Poutine. That, very good point. I'm glad she brought that up. Instant bonus points for the poutine.
dishes.
Poutine. Excuse me. Poutine.
They have artists of their own.
Is Celine Dion from Quebec? I knew she was Canadian, but I did not know she was from Quebec. That's interesting.
They have like traditions of their own. They have songs, they have festivals, they have pride. They had to like keep their French culture alive, and they've done that for so many years.
Right.
So, you know, they're like their own nation. And
I guess what I'm learning so far is like Quebec is much more of like an independent kind of doing their own thing province than I even imagined. Like they really are like it was not out of line for me to be like, Quebec's kind of their own culture, right? That seems to be fact based on what I'm hearing.
somewhat understand why they want to separate, because they have all their laws established, they have all their tourist attractions, they have all their yummy foods like poutine and la tourtière.
Oh, la tourtière. Ooh la la. I don't, is that some kind of meat pie or something?
So like they're pretty well established on their own, so I kind of understand why they're like, do we need Canada? But we're happy to have them. We don't want to lose them.
Do we need Canada? Has Quebec tried to like ever become its own independent province or nation? Or that'd be a bit strange though. Wouldn't that'd literally be like a big hole in Canada? But she said, you know, I'm kind of just going off what she's saying, that Canada's quite happy and proud to have Quebec. It's just kind of, there's really no other circumstance or relationship like it that I can think of. Not that I know that much about all the countries on the planet, but Quebec and Canada is such a fascinating relationship.
Especially because they're in an awkward place, and then it would just break up our country. But also, you know, we don't want to lose the lovely Quebecois because we're proud to have them part of our nation. The third thing I learned is that no one gonna move for you on the sidewalk. If you're walking right towards someone...
Whoa! This, okay, that's where we're going with this. Okay. Oh, this really took a turn where it was very general. Like, oh, they have their own culture and they like to speak French. And then it got very specific. And by the way, they're going to shoulder check you into the road if you don't get out of the way. Okay. Kind of like a New York in America or something, huh?
They're just gonna keep going. Yeah, never happened to me because fine, I always give in, right? I'm like, okay, fine, I'll move. But I'm sure if I hadn't, would have ran right into them. They're like, I ain't moving, you better move, girl. And because I'm me, I would be like, okay. I was a little less like that towards the end, though. I would walk right into old Quebec, right up to those tourists, and they moved for me. So one thing about Quebec is that after a while, you turn into them.
I was about to say, after a while, you embrace the Quebec culture. You embrace it. Very good. This just sounds like normal Like, I can relate to this. This is like normal American city life and stuff. People are just going where they need to go, and they're not really paying attention to if you're in their way, or, they got other things on their mind and stuff.
Also, no one holds doors for you. If you do hold a door for someone, they're like, you're oddly nice. The fourth thing I learned...
Wow. I didn't know this video was going to be so funny, intentionally or not.
Is that jaywalking is encouraged. That's right. The first month I was there, I'd be waiting at the stoplight,
Jaywalking is encouraged, like, just because it's so busy, and people just are like, all right, get where you need to go, basically, and just survive.
No cars coming, but that little walking man is not turned on. It is the red hand. So I would just wait there, and then people would look at me like this, literally, like, what are you doing? And so jaywalking is encouraged when there's no cars coming. But yeah,
Okay.
people zip right across. If the light's red,
Okay.
green, yellow, they don't
Right, little secret between us. It's okay to go to Quebec and jaywalk. Well, these are the tips I come for.
care. So if no cars are coming, just cross, because otherwise you will be judged. The fifth thing I learned is that women don't change their name in Quebec when they get married. They are like, I am proud of who I am, and the government does not see marriage as a good reason to change your name. That brings me to...
Really? Wow, that was very quick, but very interesting. I don't know many other places that are like that. That's a very specifically Quebec Canadian thing. Women in Quebec don't give up their last name. Do you like combine names? I think she was saying.
I learned is that women don't change their name in Quebec when they get married. They are like, I am proud of who I am, and the government does not see marriage as a good reason to change your name. That brings me...
Does that mean the last names become hyphenated a lot? Do the Quebecois have like 10 last names with hyphens, one after another? Or do you just husband and wife have different last names? Or I wonder how that works exactly.
To the sixth thing I learned, all their names are super duper French. Because the
Okay.
women don't change their last names, and because they like to keep their family history alive,
Right.
a lot of people end up having two last names, usually.
Oh, okay, so they do go for the double last name. And it doesn't surprise me that the last names are very, very French. I actually have learned a bit in past videos about like how Quebec came to be a thing in Canada. Why is it French? That's what it was. I was like, why is Quebec French? What's that doing there? Randomly. Fascinating history.
Usually the father's name and the mother's mother, or however they so please. But you'll meet people named Jean-Philippe, Gendron, Tremblay, and it will be normal.
Okay.
Except I feel bad for anyone filling out all those little forms with those tiny boxes, because most people have like 7 names. I kid you not. I know
Really?
a guy with like 7 names.
Really? I was joking about that. But that does seem like kind of an inevitable byproduct of what she's talking about.
Anyways, the 7th thing I learned, and arguably the best thing I learned, is that Poutine Week is a thing. First of all,
Poutine Week! Oh, this is getting good now. Poutine Week!
let's talk about poutine. Poutine is an amazing Canadian, well, really Quebecois dish.
It is.
That consists of French fries, cheese curds, and gravy. And
Yeah.
sometimes they get a little stylish with it. Throw some peppers, some onions,
Oh.
even a donut. Ask Sarah, she tried that one.
What?
Anyways,
Oh, you can get a little crazy with the poutine. That's kind of fun.
Poutine Week happened in February, I believe, or late January, and every day all these different restaurants offered creative poutines, and it was the best.
Wow, that is awesome. That is see, that's what I come from. That's what I come for. These really specific, like there's literally no other way. I don't think I'd ever know there's a poutine week in Quebec. Now I know the exact week where you want to travel to Quebec, where restaurants have all their like special, unique types of poutine on sale.
Best thing that's ever happened to me. So if you ever want to go to Quebec, go during Poutine Week, and
Yeah.
your stomach will be changed. Like
Yeah.
it will be so appreciative that you went there for Poutine Week. I
Right.
had one with like peppers. I had one with like smoked meat.
Oh,
My mouth
Okay.
is watering. I missed Quebec for the food alone. The
Okay.
8th thing I learned is that ain't nobody gonna bless you when you sneeze. So if you're afraid
These are, I swear, these are unintentionally funny. Like, how random can you get? In Quebec, no one will hold a door for you. They'll shove you into the road, and they will not say bless you when you sneeze. Okay.
That your soul's going to be taken away by the devil. Just, don't sneeze because no one's going to be, oh, bless you. Not even a te soin, which is the French version. They're just like, oh. In fact, they kind of find sneezing disgusting. They're kind of like,
Okay.
So, don't sneeze in Quebec because you will die. Just saying. The ninth thing I learned is that you can buy cheese curds in the impulse buy section. So everywhere else in the world, you're in the impulse buy section. There's a bunch of gum and chocolate bars.
Oh, like in the candy section, or like, yeah, impulse buys. Just stuff that's bad for you. That's very, Quebecois, should I say. Man, I'm so glad I learned that word today. I'm gonna use that all the time now. It's very relevant during this video. In the Quebecois, indulgement section, you can find, like, authentic cheese curds. It's kind of cool. Probably not very healthy, though.
Pop. Well, in Quebec, they have little bags of cheese curds that don't need to be refrigerated, and people just buy them and snack on cheese because
Really?
Quebec is filled with cheese. Very cheesy.
That's what I learned today as well. Quebec is filled with cheese. You heard it here first.
Just saying. And finally, the 10th thing I learned while being in Quebec is that there's certain expressions that the Québécois say over and over and over again.
Okay.
Genre, ben, dans le fond, dans le fond, dans le fond, dans le fond,
Dans le fond?
dans le fond, dans le fond.
Don the phone? Do you have to don the phone? I'm not exactly sure what she's saying, but it sounds like don le fond.
Ben, dans le fond, de toute façon, ben, de toute façon, de toute façon.
Oh, I hope she explains what this means. I don't know what any of this means.
De toute façon. Ouais. Ah ouais. Ben, me dit genre, ben,
Ja? Way? What is this?
genre, c'était comme genre, on était là, genre, ben là, genre. This one night, I have a friend in Quebec.
Huh?
He says genre a lot, like his people.
Ja.
I thought, hey, this would be a fun drinking game. I'll just drink every time he says genre.
Ja.
Yeah, that's
Ja. What on earth does ja mean? Is that a French word or like an expression or slang or what?
all I remember after that. It's
Ja.
all fuzzy. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I am just picking fun at some of the things I noticed in Quebec, but I love the culture. I never thought I'd say this, but I'd actually like to live there someday. So
Wow.
if you ever get to go to Quebec, just see it as a beautiful experience. I saw an ice castle. I saw an
I mean, another thing I'm getting here is like, well, I think I touched on this. Quebec culture is really its own thing. Like, it's like another country, almost. I mean, I don't know if I'm getting the correct impression here, but just based on what she's saying.
ice hotel. I saw the Chateau Frontenac. They have horses and carriages. They have all kinds of museums. They have big city streets like St. Catherine Street in Montreal. They have a cool Ferris wheel in Montreal. They have waterfalls. They have beautiful paths. They have trees.
Quebec sounds quite like it has a big diversity of stuff to visit and see as well. So that's cool. Montreal, Quebec City, I know of.
It's a beautiful, beautiful province, and it hurts me that I don't live there anymore, but it's something I think you should all experience. So book your flights to Quebec someday, and you will not regret it. See you, friends.
Wow, that was good. That was good. That was by Chatty Cathy. Chatty Cathy. And I liked that. That was very good. Man. And I feel like it was great that she has... to me, she's Canadian, I believe. I was trying to think, is this an American or a Canadian? She's Canadian and has lived in Canada and also at some point was in Quebec for a while. And all these insights were funny, scrutinizing at times, maybe appropriately, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's like, I think the good thing I'm taking away from this is just how much of its culture, how much culture Quebec has, and maybe how much more there is to learn about Quebec in general. It's something I have not in particular learned that much about, but it seems absolutely fascinating and like absolutely fantastic place to visit or learn more about as long as you don't get pushed into the road. That's all you got to know. So anyway, joking aside, I really did enjoy her insights into this. Is really fascinating. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and Canadian culture, stuff in Canada I've never learned about, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.